Okay, guys, we are live. So, for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon user this evening. Tonight, we are continuing on our epic sandbox campaign, playing the Pirates of Drinax mega campaign published by Mongoose Publishing, using Mongoose Publishing second edition Traveler role-playing game as the engine for our voyage. With me tonight are the two usual fixtures of the Wednesday night sessions. Guys, why don't you do quick introductions of who you are and who you're playing? Jeffrey, you're up. You log in first.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm Jeffrey, and I'm playing Charlie Williams. He is I don't know, an aged, what are they called? Marine?
Merchant Marine.
Merchant Marine. There you go.
Mm.
Who's dabbled in a little bit of pirate business, but that's on the down low.
Nice. And Steve O, who you are and who you're playing?
Hey, I play Commander Miltiades Gavros, who is an intergalactic rascal.
That he is. So where we we're gonna get into where we last left our characters in a moment here, and we'll swap over to Roll20 for that. But I just wanted to have a quick chat with the guys about the game or the game in general, because last session I felt that you guys, Steve and I have talked about this a little bit, and Jeff, you and I have talked about this a little bit off camera. But I wanted to just have a quick chat about how this game is going to be different from our other games. So, like I said, from when we were making characters for this, my intention is to run this thing strictly as a strict sandbox game. And one of the particular ways where a sandbox game differs from what we normally would play is that there isn't a through narrative necessarily. There may be shit happening in the world, but it's not like a plot that you're part of.
Right.
The world is going to be character agnostic in the sense that it doesn't, it's not there to service your story or your voyage or whatever else. It's there to react to you. In a sandbox game, the nice thing is there's a whole universe of possibilities that are waiting out there for you. It's just that it's not going to be, it's not there to service your voyage through it. And one of the key things about that is that whatever is happening, whatever you guys are experiencing in universe, when you're talking to people, when they're responding to you or they're interacting with you, none of that is going to be cues from me to get you to go in one direction or another thing.
Right.
So to put more plainly, the world will lie to you. So the world might say, oh, we should really fucking do this, but that's not necessarily the truth.
Right.
So to get the most out of the sandbox kind of experience, what I want you guys to try and think of is, to think of your characters immersed in that world, and the things that they're dealing with. So, for instance, like for this adventure, I keep saying an adventure, and we are following, for those listening at home, the first of the Reaches adventures published by Mongoose Publishing. This one's called Marooned on Marduk. The opening of the adventure saw our heroes on a shuttle that got shot down by pirates from a neighboring system. But the thing is there's not a story necessarily that's coming from that. Like, that is just something that happened, and that will happen as we play through too. Because remember that every time you go into a new system, or you jump into a new region, or you try and enter a new space station, like the Highport or stuff like that, I'm going to be rolling random encounters and random events that are just going to happen. And then the story that we're going to build together is just going to come from you guys reacting to that stuff. So in particular, what I was thinking of is when you guys crashed, right? Like I felt like we were floundering a little bit last session because you guys seemed like you were waiting for me or waiting for something to happen that would make it clear how to get out of the situation.
Right.
And that's just not going to happen, right? Like, that's not going to happen in a sandbox game. It will really be up to you guys to figure out, and the world will respond accordingly. So, like, for instance, if your character, Jeff, your character is amazing at mechanics. So if you were to think about the world and be like, okay, well, I'm having difficulty getting a hold of anybody with my comms transponder. But a transponder on a ship is a lot more fucking powerful. So I'll bet you if I can get that thing out and then get some kind of power to it, I might be able to either ping my location to someone or to, you know, get the comm unit out of the ship. Now, that's just something when Steve and I were at breakfast, we were chatting about this. That's just an example. That's not actually something in the rule book or in the adventure. That's just me trying to figure out a way to make your character, you know, make it work with your character. One of the things that you guys will want to do as well is really, like, the world is there for you to discover in the sense of, like, figuring out what options and what resources you have access to as well. So, for instance, when you crashed, there was a ton of fucking stuff that you guys could have accessed, right? Like, there were enough survival packs for, I believe it's like 12 different people, but there was only 5 of you. But because we didn't really, you guys sort of glossed over what you were looking through and what you were taking, I've assumed that you're only taking 1 survival pack each, which means that you guys do have a fairly limited amount of rations.
Right. Well, we could always try to circle back to the ship.
Absolutely. What I want you guys to just you know, to know from this is that you're free to do and choose whatever you want in here. You know, but part of that is going to, you know, is again like putting yourself really into your character's shoes. What got me thinking about this is playing in my buddy's sandbox game and how differently I was thinking about that and how much more immersive it felt, because I was really having to think about and like ask him questions about what sort of resources I had access to, or interact with the NPCs and get information from them and stuff like that.
Right.
And in this, I didn't do a terribly good job of making it easy for you to understand who, you know, you were with, but you'll see in the Roll20 game when we get in that I tried to correct that, so it'll make it easier for you to figure out who you can access. But that's another resource, is the people who are, you know, who are abandoned with you. So anyway, with that in mind, so that's sort of the different approach. Like I'm going to be here to facilitate your characters moving through these worlds, but it's not going to be like the way we normally play, or not, I shouldn't say not normally, but the types of campaigns that I normally run, where there is a story that's sort of going on, and you guys are you know, are sort of reacting to that ongoing plot. This is much more going to be just like shit's going to happen, and we'll see what you guys, you know, how you respond to that.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. I think, like, to be honest, in terms of the long-term viability of our campaign, it will absolutely keep all of our interests much stronger, because you guys are, none of us know what's going to happen next. Right?
Right.
Okay. So before we launch into the actual session, do you guys have any questions about that?
No.
I don't think so.
No? Like, was I right that you guys were feeling a little like unsure of what to be doing?
Sure. Well, we're finding our way around. I mean, I think there's just going to be a bit of a
I think we're also just getting a feel for our characters. I mean,
yeah.
To me, that's part of it. I mean, they're brand new. I don't know a lot about my character yet, so
sure.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in a situation like that and I'm playing a character that I know very well, I know how my character would act, what he would do, what he'd be thinking. But when it's a new character and you're just getting into it and starting to build up some, you know, character motives and stuff, it's a little harder to be in the middle of that stuff at that point.
Okay. So hopefully with the necessity of sort of having to be put yourself in those shoes, that will help you, you know, figure out who these guys are. So let me switch my screens over here, guys, and I'll switch my cameras. There we go. Boom. Look at that. Okay, present to everyone. And let me switch my, where am I going here? Where are you? There we go. Turn my camera off, and I'll refresh in Roll20. Boom.
Do we get our endurance back?
You do not.
Okay.
No, you are. It will be a little while before you get that back.
What about the temporary stuff? Or no, that's it.
Which temporary stuff?
Sorry, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, no, the temporary. You let me see here. Oh, there we go. Okay, my camera's working. I'm not seeing either of you guys in Roll20.
I'm using
Oh no, I
Firefox.
didn't turn off my camera yet and switch it over.
Oh, okay.
Turn that one on.
Oh, what's this? You are using the legacy version of Roll20 video and voice. This version is no longer being supported. The new Roll20 video and voice chat is available for your game. Activate it now from the settings tab. All right, so let's see what the hell's going on here.
But you know, it worked.
Oh, hold on here. Let me see if. Oh, and actually, this new one apparently works in Chrome again. Let me try here, guys. I'm just gonna. Maybe that's why we've been having such problems with the camera the last little while. It's because it was using outdated tech. Let's see here. Okay, there's me. So what you guys might need to do is go into your settings and just under the video and audio chat options, you're going to click the menu and go to Roll20 Web RTC instead of the legacy option.
Video input source?
Yeah, video input source.
To the all I've got is HP wide version.
When you click down, it doesn't give you the. One second. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Right at the top, Steve. Chat tech.
What?
Chat. All right, hold on. Enable chat avatars.
Because I had your cameras there in a moment, and then as soon as I switch over to the new interface, maybe just hit refresh on your screens, guys. Maybe
My video is working on mine.
Okay, maybe just hit refresh anyway, just to.
I did.
Or I could just try.
Because what I'm seeing, so on mine, guys, when I go into settings, it says video and audio chat options, and the first option under there is chat tech. And what they've got now is there's web.
I don't have that one.
You don't have that one. Okay, so maybe it's just a matter of going back, like exiting the game and coming back in. Let's see. I'm trying to reset here. Okay, reconnect. Because I did see you guys. I just okay, there's Steve. You're in, Steve-O. I don't see your video on mine.
No, I went back into Chrome, and it doesn't like my camera. I'll go back to Firefox.
If I click on the cog,
yep.
The top thing is my display name.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of checkboxes. None of them are about video.
Okay. So maybe try like leaving the game and going back in, Jeff, and see if that maybe makes a difference.
I never got. I can. It does say WebRTC debug log.
Right. That's at the bottom. So
the debug log. It doesn't say anything about that.
Oh, you're serious. There's an option here for having issues. What does it say?
Player avatar size, location, chat options, audio source.
Yeah, you can
video
see
input source. Is my webcam. I have it set to video only, and those are my only options.
Keeping your browser up to date. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. I don't know what is going on there because I did see your videos a moment ago. Let's see here.
I see mine, but I don't see yours.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
However, when I go back to...
See, I didn't get any message about my video type or anything like that.
No, it. I'm gonna try refreshing here and see if that sorts out the issues. No, it was me, but neither of you guys. It's
Yeah,
on.
I see, but I don't see either of you guys.
It's weird. Yeah, it's.
Are you using Firefox?
I'm using Firefox, yeah. And what it was is I lost you guys. Let me try switching back to the legacy Roll20.
Yeah, see, you have that chat tech thing, and we don't.
No, and there's a bunch of things that the like DMs have access to that you guys don't. Okay, I still. Yeah, see, now I see you guys again. So you know what I'll do is I'll just, for today's session, we'll use this legacy interface. And then next time we'll deal with the, we'll use the
It's
Roll20.
like they've released it for DMs, but not players.
Weird.
Yeah, I
My
don't know
menu
why
actually changes when you do that, though, Kev.
Interesting. Okay.
But it doesn't give me that option that you have, which is
Yeah,
chat
no, me
tab.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have that video bandwidth. I don't have any of those controls.
yeah, I don't think that. Let's see here.
I think those are like.
Let's see here. Huh. Okay, so you know what? Like, we'll deal with this between now and the next thing.
Yeah.
I'll change the browser.
About it.
Yeah, there might. You know what? It might be a matter of updating the browsers as well too. One of the things they say is that the yeah, making sure that your Firefox or Chrome is updated as well. But I mean, those things tend to keep themselves updated. But anyway, okay. So for the session, where we last left our heroes was marooned on Marduk, and you guys had, you can see on the picture in the bottom left of the screen there, guys. That's a little picture of what you're seeing across the surface of Marduk. And then I couldn't find a picture of Princess Rao that I could access, and that my print copy of Pirates of Drinax is still not in. So hopefully next week I'll have that, or hopefully by next session at least I'll have that. But yeah, last session you guys crashed. You grabbed some stuff for fear of pirates coming into from Ogma to come in and take you guys. Did I put it up there? Let's see here. I did not. Oh shoot! You know, I forgot to put up, guys. I've actually got a map of the Sindel sector as well too that I'll put up on between now and the next session, so you guys can actually see what the subsector looks like. And I'll try and do the same for each of the sectors, so that way you guys will have access to, in addition to the actual, you know, maps in the Pirates of Drinax players book, you will also have access to seeing them in Roll20 as well, so we can talk about your planned travels there. So these are the three, in addition to Princess Rao, these and her bodyguard, or her surviving bodyguard, I should say. These are the three other passengers who were on the shuttle when it crashed. It's Finan Trivix, Karine Lukawiak, and Evan Sanderson. Remember, he's the Varger lawyer who had crashed. He wears that fancy-looking suit. Finan's a little overweight and looks a little rumpled, maybe is the right word for it. And Corinne is a local. She looks like and speaks like someone who has actually grown up on Marduk, at the low port. I mean, not the surface itself. What do you guys remember about Marduk, the surface in general?
It's a post-irradiated wasteland.
That is correct, and that seems to be where you find yourself. So, okay, so what are you guys going to do?
It's morning now, right?
It is morning, yes. You guys had, it had been raining the night before. You had those nasty-looking big dog cat things that were attacking, and Finan actually, he got mauled fairly badly.
And it's going to slow us down. I say we eat them.
Yes, I remember that's
We already tried that. We already tried to kill him last session.
Yeah. We didn't say eat them.
morning comes, and I remember at the end of last session, you guys had a bit of a conversation with Princess Rao and her bodyguard. I'm trying to remember what his name was. I wrote it down. Oh, here we go. Nebetka. That was the surviving guy. So remember, he was the great big bald, bodyguard who was in that Star Guards uniform. One of you guys, I think it might have been Steve, had recognized his uniform as being part of the Star Guard from Drinax. Drinax is about one sector core or spinward from Sindel, so not too far away.
Right. I say, well, rise and shine. It's time to keep moving.
Evan sort of, or not Evan, Finan sort of gets up and he says, I think I'm still bleeding.
Did I get a chance to do a medic roll on him?
I think you might have. Let's take a look back. I think you did actually.
Okay. Maybe I better do
did a medic roll. I don't know who it was on. If it was on me or if it was on him, I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I really don't know.
I'm quite injured too, so.
Well, why don't we say this? Because the DM can't remember, why don't we give you the benefit of the doubt there? It's sort of the DM equivalent of contra proferentum there, Steve.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and make a medic education roll, please.
Alrighty.
No boons, no banes.
Medic education. Here we
Well,
go.
and I mean, it was in the middle of a rainstorm in the dark, so maybe in the light of day he might be able to see something that he couldn't see.
Yeah. Whoa, nicely done. So that's actually a huge fucking success. Give me a sec here. I need to double check what the difficulty number is. Because the way that medic works, I believe, is it's a certain amount of whatever amount above the target number, like your degree of success. That's what how much they recover. So let's see here. Healing. Here we go. First aid. Yes, and the standard difficulty, I believe, is. Oh, I got my DM screen. Let me pull that out. The DM screen for this is not quite as nice as the Star Trek one, but it is pretty cool anyway. There we go, guys. You want to see? Ooh. You're in the pilot seat. You're a traveler. Ooh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it because it's really it's super solid. I'm actually reading here, so this is why I'm not just holding it up for effect.
Well, my secret roll.
Yeah, I'm hiding my roll from you guys. Yeah, the average is an 8, so that means 5. Holy shit! So, Steve, give us a cool description of what sort of medical, hoodoo you do in this guy.
Well, he always paid attention in class, so he ends up putting together. There's a small suture pack in the traveling kits, and he managed to suture up the guy's wound, and then wrap it in some clean bandage that there was also in the cases. And so he's got a tidy sort of stitch going on.
Okay. So while this is going on, Evan is keeping a clear distance from you guys. Kind of, he's really overwhelmed by what's going on. He is very much not in his element. But Corinne is actually sort of, over your shoulder watching what's happening, and seems pretty impressed by what this old spacer can actually pull together. Oh, also, no, you're not the older one.
I'm barely middle-aged.
What does your character look like again, Steve? I know that
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno, right.
Tall, fairly broad-shouldered. Well, I guess not that broad-shouldered, but lanky, but sort of wiry. And then he wears these sort of black kind of, imperial outfit.
Okay, so you, so while you're working on that, Rao and Nebetka pull you aside, Charlie, and say what Rao says he will slow us down.
Say,
Well, are you suggesting we leave him here to die?
No. But where do you plan to go? Do you know where we're headed?
No, and we've attempted to use our communication devices to reach the station, and they're clearly not strong enough. At this point, I'm suggesting that we circle back around to the crashed vessel and see if we can get the communication equipment working on it.
Corinne sort of overhears you and turns and she says, the pirates. The pirates will be there.
Well, they may still be there. We will see.
She seems quite concerned about going back.
well, yep.
But you may stay here.
She sort of, her eyes get big, and while she is an adult, she's in her early 20s, she looks suddenly very scared and very young to you. Why don't you give me let's see here. You're not trained in, that's Miltiades. Oh, you are trained in Persuade. Sweet. Give me a Persuade check. Are you trying to convince her to come, or are you sort of laying out the law of, like, this is the way things fucking are?
Well, I don't know. I would say that me and Miltiades have been running the show, so if she can go do her own thing or come with us. I mean,
okay. So, yeah, give me a Persuade check. No boons or banes on it. Use your social as the modifier, please. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she. That's sort of, setting out what her options are has helped to make up her mind. So while she's scared of the pirates, she's certainly more scared of being left behind with these Garanan baits stalking her. Miltiades, you do a terrific work on Finian. Or Finan, I should say, Finan. He feels much better. The gash that you were sealing up, it really was not nearly. It looked a lot worse than what it actually was.
Right. You gave him some morphine too.
You get some, sorry, war paint?
Morphine as well.
Oh, morphine. Okay. Okay. Well, space morphine, so it'll be neo, whatever.
Exactly.
Neophene. Let's see here. Jeff, would you kindly give me a survival and intellect check, please?
So, like, change survival to intellect?
Yes, please. I do like the interface on this. It's pretty slick. Okay. Okay. All right. So you guys had only been traveling for about a day so far, and I think what I'm going to get you to do is, if you're planning on heading back to where you can, just give me another survival roll, and I'll give you a boon on it.
How about we? Sorry, go ahead. We could also just try to find some high ground to try contacting the.
I mean, we can look around, but like, we got to be careful. There's lots of dangers out here.
Right.
Oh, I was going to check something. Is I want to.
And last night we couldn't see any, but maybe in the light we could see something. But
right.
Yeah. What you're able to see, guys, is that now that it's the light of day, and remember it was dusk when you were making your way through here, and that's when Miltiades took a tumble. Over sort of the ruined, the ruined sort of remnants of an old wall. It's a little more evident now that you are in the ruins of what was once a city. Unfortunately, as you've read, the cities were fucking annihilated. It's as if a series of giant hammers fell from orbit and reduce this entire area down to nothing but irradiated dust.
So there's not really any high ground. There's no building left standing. There's no.
Not here, at least.
Right. And I mean, how far do we want to venture?
Yeah.
With an injured man and.
Do we see any high ground around?
You got your binoculars out. Give me a recon check, please.
Oh, my favorite roll.
I'll give you a boon. Oh yeah, you got -2 on it, right? I will give you a boon on it because you're using your binoculars.
All right, thank you. 1 modifier 1. Boom.
Oh, you don't have to enter anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't put the modifier because that's added 1 to your roll now. What you want to do is look at the boon, and the boon can substitute for the lowest one. So actually, you do succeed.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Do you? 10 minus? No, you don't.
10 minus 3 is a 7. Right.
Yeah. So get your binoculars up, and there's sort of that, it's not that grainy thing we see in A New Hope, but you're able to see out, and all you're seeing is just more and more of what you can see in that photo. It's just flat, desolate scrubs stretching out for miles in every direction.
Right. Okay.
Now that I realize the description of the terrain in the book too, I realize how inaccurate this fucking photo is. This is actually from the adventure, by the way. This isn't something I found online. This is actually in the adventure. So it's somewhat misleading. Okay, so you're not able to see anything, but would you guys give me?
Well, you want that survival intellect roll, right?
Yeah, give me a survival intellect roll too, and I will give you a boon on that. From because you're using compass, and then I imagine that if you use your comm unit probably has some kind of GPS type thing in it. All right, so you succeed. Okay, so that just when you find your way back, you will be able to do that without incident.
Actually find where our ship is.
Exactly. You're not going to get lost in the featureless desert. Fortunately, you're able to, through a combination of seeing where your sort of tracks were before. Oh, actually, no, it might be difficult to see that because of a night of rain. What I'd like you guys to give me is a... excuse me. I think electronics and education, please.
Alrighty, that I can do.
Yeah. Finally, something in my fucking wheelhouse.
No boons, no banes. Boom.
Okay, nice. So, Miltiades, you're thinking of a bit of old trivia that you've heard of before. And the trivia was relating to, thousands of years ago on old Earth when, electronics was first sort of introduced into the school or the study of archaeology, and in particular the use of satellite technology. And what they used to do is when they were trying to determine the area by say a extinct or abandoned city would cover, is they would use old maps of those abandoned cities, and they would use satellite imagery to superimpose those old maps for when the cities existed onto the existing satellite map to try and figure out where on the ground they could find the remnants of that city. Isn't that an interesting bit of trivia?
It is. So, how do we access this wonderful knowledge?
Which I'm just sharing some trivia, Steve. I don't know what you mean by knowledge.
What do you figure, Jeff?
Well, like we have comm devices, right? So when you arrive in the area, you are given like a download of the local information.
That's right. Yeah.
We could search through there and see if there's any kind of maps or anything.
I see that's a good idea.
Okay.
Well, I think you would have suggested it.
Well, let's have a little look.
Sorry, guys. I'm just quickly looking at, while you're doing that, keep talking. I'm quickly grabbing the Pirates of Drinax book because I want to open up and check something. This is one of the things
I'm actually going to run and grab a sweater. It's cold in my basement.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Steve, what do you think? You can think out loud then. What are you thinking?
I think, let's see here. Well, I mean, it's easy enough to do a search on our comms to see what information we can pull up.
Okay, so there's some, it's sort of like a basic sort of Wikipedia style entry is what you get in the initial dump from it, but you may be able to access further information. What type of information were you thinking of looking for?
Well, we're thinking of looking for, let's see here. First of all, like a larger lay of the land, so maybe we can see things like other campsites or outposts or high ground.
Well, as far as you may remember that the sort of Galactopedia entry for Marduk says that it is completely abandoned, that the mainland is not inhabited by anybody.
So where were we going then when we were going to go meet our attaché?
You were going to. There is the mainland, but there are archipelagos as well, and the archipelagos are inhabited by xenophobic locals who have learned that basically to avoid any people because of the raids from Ogama.
Okay.
Jeff, you seriously freaked me out because I for some reason I was looking at your camera and thinking it was mine. I'm like, who the fuck's walking into my room?
Who's coming up behind me?
Yeah, exactly. Ambush.
That's funny.
Okay, so yeah, and then what where you guys were headed, like none of those locals will deal with you guys, but where you were going was the low port, because there is a low port that was set up by Judico, that massive corporation that has a significant presence in the Trojan Reach.
Right.
Charlie has an ex-girlfriend who works for Judico, and she said that she had a gig for him or for his crew.
And
actually, Kev,
yep.
I'd also like to check our supplies and see if we have any flares or anything like that.
Sure. I can tell you.
Charlie says, you know, the port by now will have figured out that their shuttle has been taken down and may send out a reconnaissance or rescue crew to see if there's any survivors.
For sure.
So what there is 6 chemical light sticks. There is fire starting equipment, but there are no flares.
Okay. Maybe we can get some geographic location information for Lowport.
Well, Kev said last session that it's like very far away.
Yeah, it's still pretty far away from you guys. Like it's 1,000 kilometers at least.
Okay. So then what do we say we take we take a route where we're still in sight of our old tracks, but where we're slightly off them, so that if anyone's following us on foot, hopefully they won't see us.
Right. That's why I said like kind of circle back. Like don't take the same path back, but head back to the same location.
Yeah. Okay, so I was sort of what I was looking at, guys, was the timeline for this stuff. The Sindal Empire fell, which Marduk was part of that. The Sindal Empire fell roughly. Actually, hold on. I actually don't know whether Marduk was part of Sindal or whether it was part of Drinax. Give me a second. Drinax came afterwards. The Drinaxi Empire was a successor state. The Sindal Empire fell about 2,800 years ago. And hold on here. I'm going to go to Marduk. I think it's Sindal because this is the Sindal sector. So, over here. Okay, I actually have a whole new respect for the, what do you call it? There it is. PDF version, because this is pretty freaking cool. Oh, you know what? I actually do have a fucking print version of my Aslan book, so maybe I can stop being so lazy and grab that. Where is it here? Marduk, here we go. No, so Marduk was bombed around the time when Sindal fell. So it's like 2,800 years ago. So if you were the last time that a map of this region would reveal any cities would be, you know, close to 3,000-year-old map.
Okay.
That's not to say that they don't necessarily exist. It's just that it's probably not necessarily part of the regular package. But if you could get through the static that you guys are dealing with and access the high port, or access the low port somehow, or contact the low port, then you you'd be able to call that up just as easily as if it was a Google search.
Right.
If that information exists.
Okay, well, we did our exploration to see if we could find a way to get our comms to work. That didn't seem to work, so maybe the best idea is going back to the ship.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to try.
Okay.
I mean, if the pirates are there, you know, we're in trouble, but
we have our binoculars. We'll try to, you know, be careful.
Right.
Okay. Finan, now that he's actually up, gets up and says, so you plan to go back and fight the pirates? With what, your shotgun and your pistol?
Well, the plan is to go see if the pirates are still there. We need the communication equipment aboard the ship if we have any hope of getting off this wasteland. We're 1,000 miles from the low port. We'll never make that journey through this dangerous wasteland.
Kareen says, and what if they've stripped the communications gear? Then hopefully
the port authorities will send a rescue ship to see if there's any survivors.
The Evan sort of shakes his head and says, it makes sense that they would look at the crash site first, doesn't it? And
I think there's a very good chance that the port authority will send someone this morning.
Evan sort of sighs. He says, well, I will do what you think is best. And Finan gets up and sort of like, you know, stretches his leg and it says, anything that will get us away from those things. And Rao and Nevetka turn to you and says, I suppose that's where we go then.
Charlie adds, if I was in charge of the port authority, not only would I be sending a ship, I would be sending armed soldiers as well. Well, I'm sure our pilots radioed in that they were shot down.
Yes. I'm just trying to think if this would be sort of common enough. So there is probably security on the station, but remember that the Trojan Reaches are the boonies, right? Like this is the waste. This is the wildest of Wild West as far as this is not part of the Imperium. So the extent of their defenses for the Highport, it wouldn't surprise you to learn that it's the missiles and the whatever weaponry is attached to the Highport. That there isn't, like, they likely have no fleet to deploy. because you would have seen them when you were going in.
Well, not necessarily a fleet, but they have to have some kind of security. Otherwise, once you're aboard Highport, 3 guys with guns could take it over.
Right. The Highport itself is really well defended.
Right.
But they don't necessarily have like those people to send out to, you know. I'm not saying it's to shit on the planet. I just want to make sure you understand where, like, just how fucking like in the middle of nowhere that the Trojan reaches really are. Unless there's a local power, then they're probably not sending out.
Well, she's the princess.
Well, I think the princess, like, that's where the value for you guys may come in, is if you guys are able to get her saved while she's in the middle of this, situation. Right. I think you guys have. I don't think you guys have actually talked, like, you haven't talked in character about what the benefit may be to impressing Princess Rao.
Well, we know what Miltiades thinks the reward is for impressing her.
Oh yeah.
I love that you botched that roll in the first session. Okay, cool. So let's so we see you guys now making your way across the barren landscape of Marduk. You've got your respirators on still, because again, like the atmosphere is not safe really to breathe for extended periods of time. Would you guys each make a recon check for me, please? And I'm going to make some for the NPCs.
Recon.
Okay.
With
recon intellect.
Which stat? I think intellect, please. Oh, that is not your strong suit there, Miltiades.
Nope.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't roll very great either. My total, though, is a 7.
Okay. So,
I don't get a boon. Never mind.
Talk to me a little bit of what your plan is in terms of approaching the fallen ship. What I will tell you is that after about an hour of hiking, Nebetka comes forward and leans in to you, Charlie, and says, "We are still being stalked."
By the beasts.
He nods. He says, "They are clever in their efforts, but I feel we are being herded."
Well, maybe if the pirates are at the crash site, we can trick the beasts into a fight with them, and maybe dwindle both their numbers.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be
nice.
Nice.
Tactics.
He nods and says, "Your strategy. Do you feel you can control those creatures well enough?"
No, but we can always try. We have some knowledge that they will attack at night. So we could wait till night and try to lure them to the camp of the pirates, if the pirates are camped there.
Okay. So you guys tell me a little bit about what your plan is for approaching the camp, or approaching the fallen ship. Sorry, I interrupted you guys and gave you that information. What's your thought here, guys? Because you got plenty of time to plan, sort of.
Well, I mean, we're trying to come at it from a different direction than we left. So, once we get close enough to it that we know where it is, then, circle around, 90 or 120 degrees from sort of where we left, and try and use our binoculars and see what's going on at the site.
Okay. And you're staying as a big group?
Keeping our range.
Yeah, well, how quiet are our... Maybe not.
Evan is panting fairly hard by the later in the day. Probably so is Finan as well. Corinne seems to be doing okay, and both Princess Rao and Nebetka are. Nebetka's like crazy, super soldier fit.
Well, okay, so we'll imagine, quite a distance from the ship, we will start to circle around, and then we'll leave them like back a bit, and Miltiades and Charlie will sneak closer to get a look.
Okay.
But we'll leave them a ways away, you know, an extra couple 100 meters or something.
Okay. You want to like because of where you ended up camping, you basically hiked until the sun started going down. So if you're traveling at the same rate, the sun will sort of be going down. If you know, assuming you don't get lost. If you did a straight beeline back, you would it would likely be dark by the time you got back. If you're going to be doing a bit of a detour, I think it's going to take longer, unless you like double time it. You know, like you try and like either keep up the pace or try and jog for certain.
Well, was it first thing in the morning when we crashed? Like, was it?
Right.
When you crashed. Oh, good point. It was just that it was evening when you crashed. So yeah,
right.
no,
so we're only a few hours away from the crash.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so you can easily get there. It's probably not even 24 hours since you crashed.
Right. Which is actually what we're hoping, because then we're more likely to get spotted by a reconnaissance ship or something checking out the crash.
Okay. So what I think I'm going to get you to do then is, so you said you were going to leave them together.
I don't think it's worth bringing everyone closer to see if the pirates are there.
Sure. So you get to a certain point where you're fairly confident that you're going to be, you know, you will start being able to spot them, and if you're able to spot them with you know, binoculars, then they may spot you with binoculars as well.
Yeah, well, we were like, you know, seal crawling or whatever you call it.
Well, I'm guessing that not everyone is doing that, right? Like you're.
Well, no, we're only doing that when we approach from our circled around distance.
Right. Okay. So let me understand then. Everyone is circling around.
Yes.
Okay. When are you leaving the other people behind, and who are you leaving?
Well, when we get to, like, I don't know, let's just say somewhere between 90 and 100 degrees around from where we left.
Yeah.
Circling around the crash.
And let's say you're like a kilometer away from the.
Right. So then that's where we're going to leave everyone else, or everyone else who will stay. If anyone insists on coming with us, like, we can role play that if you want. But
sure. Well, I think that I mean, what will come out from talking to the guys is that like Nebeka's not leaving Rao, and Rao will do whatever, you know. To be honest, like Rao and Nebeka are the only ones with weapons other than you guys.
Right.
So it may be best for them to stay with the.
Right. You guys stay here and protect everyone else. We're gonna move up, you know, 300 meters or something directly towards the ship and see if we can use our binoculars to see if the pirates are there. If they're not, you know, and we'll come back either way as soon as we see what's going on.
Okay. So give me, let's see here. First things first, why don't you guys each give me a stealth check, and I'll give you a boon on that.
Noise. And stealth, what quality?
Stealth using. I'm going to look it up only because the game suggests different attributes or different characteristics for different roles, and I want to start learning that stuff. So mechanic. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a neat way so that if you happen to suck at one thing, it doesn't mean you're always going to suck with that skill.
Right.
So it's a dex, actually.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Dex it is.
Mm-hmm.
Big roll. Oh yeah.
No boon, no bane, or one boon.
No boons, no banes. Oh no, one boon, one boon.
Oh yeah.
All you do is just hover over it and see which. Well, that's fucking great. Wow.
We both did good, actually.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Okay, so both of you guys rolled well enough. So you get down and start crawling through this brambles and brushes and stuff like that, and you're easily able to approach the still smoking ruin of the shuttlecraft. And what you see is that there is another vessel that has landed next to it, and that is actually looks just like the Far Trader, the one that if you look at your rule books, I can't remember the page reference for yours, Steve, but whatever rule book has the. Are you at your parents' place or at your place?
My parents.
Oh, okay, so you don't have it with you.
What? Yes, I do. Yeah, the book.
Oh, you do. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, take if you look in the section. So, Jeff, for you, it'll be on page 1. 1 second here. 168.
Yeah, I remember what our ship looked like.
Yeah, the Free Trader. Yeah. So, and I'm not sure what page it's on, but it's in the book that has the starships in it.
Right.
So that's landed on the ground, and there are. Let me see here. You see, there's about 12 people working on this thing. No, that's probably too many. I'm gonna take just the 2 highest. There's about 10 people who were working on different parts who were pulling shit off. Now, these guys, as you're looking at them, I mean, it is a really weird, incongruent sort of picture of this very high-tech shuttlecraft that's being torn apart by a mixture of like really high-tech laser torches and then like crudely made crowbars. These guys are dressed like, if you could picture like a post-apocalyptic Viking, that's what these guys are dressed like. Lots of leathers and skins and stuff like that, but then with like, you know, a laser rifle strapped across the back. But hanging from their belt is a crudely made battle axe that is where the head is actually a sort of reworked piece of starship hull.
I don't think it's the high station.
That's that high recon that's really benefiting you there.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to check out or ask about?
Well, we better signal back or go back and tell the other guys to stop for one thing. Oh yeah, well I guess we better check it out too. Fair enough. How many do they all have weapons? Do they all have weapons?
They all have weapons of some kind. The vast majority of these guys are carrying what look like fairly battered, what do you call it, slug guns. So some kind of projectile weapons. But there is 1 or 2 that have a more high-tech looking like laser rifle. But they all have some kind of vicious looking hand-to-hand weapon. You know, be it a battle axe or a sword or something like that.
Right.
They also have a lot of scarring and or tattooing on their faces and bodies as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you guys have heard of places like this, in particular the Trojan Reaches. You know, the legends of these civilizations that were just lost to time, where they degenerated back in technology. And these guys, the pirates of Ogama, somehow managed to, you know, maintain a certain tech level by going out and using their ingenuity and savagery to take it from others.
And are there any on their ship, or are they all on our ship? I guess they're going back and forth.
Right. I'm back to liking this plan of maybe wait till nightfall and see what they do, and maybe trying to get these beasts to attack them.
Okay. May as well, because they're going to
10 is
attack
too
it.
many for the 3 of us to take on.
Right.
Like us and the bodyguard.
Well, it's a, you know, maybe it's just crazy enough to work.
These are the kind of plans I love. You are the guys who you know are fucking smuggling around a cargo hold full of nuclear weapons. So
You have a high risk
not averse to risk.
No. Well, and I mean, I don't think the two of us can take. I don't know enough about this game from a metagame speaking level, but I still don't like the odds.
Yeah, I don't think so. Somehow, sounds like a bit much.
One thing I'll just another little bit of a way of reinforcing what the tech level is here. While you guys are doing this, while you don't have like like earbud headsets or whatever with each other, you could easily if you want to be in touch with the base or with the rest of the group, or like even just Nebetka and Rao, you can have that on your comm.
Right, we could be texting them or sending them photos of what's going on.
Yeah, or video. I mean, or
right.
Speaking audio to them.
Sure.
Right, like think that we have something along the lines of a smartphone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything that a smartphone can do, your comm can, and then in some cases other things as well.
Right. Okay. So we should be thinking at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we would be sending video back to the princess and her bodyguard.
Yeah.
And the whispering, they're tearing the ship apart.
You hear from Nebetka. He texts you. And you see, sort of a text comes up saying, "You are the ones on site. What do you? How do you assess the opposition?"
Mm.
Do you want us to text back or just say what we're texting?
Yeah, why don't you text back? That'll be kind of cool. That'll be kind of cool. And then for the sake of the viewers at home, I'll get you to read out what you've typed. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea.
We did this last time.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that.
There are 10 of them. Not heavily armed, but enough to pose a major threat to our small force.
Okay. I'll let you guys read out what the responses are as well.
Sure.
Armaments. So we'll check again through the binoculars and give them a pretty exacting list.
Sure. So of the 10, there are 2 that are armed with some kind of energy weapons. It's tough to tell what kind they're using because they've probably had other shit like put on them, and then there's like stylized carvings and shit that they've put on them as well. But the rest of them are armed with very rudimentary slug weapons or projectile weapons.
Right.
Probably an equal split between pistols and rifles, or pistols and maybe submachine guns actually. And all of them though are armed with some kind of crude but looks like effective melee weapon, and like medieval looking melee weapon as well.
So Charlie sends back 2 with energy weapons. The rest have slug weapons. 4 pistols, 4 submachine guns. All have a sword or axe. He says, "How confident are you in your ability to shoot at range?" Well, I have a shotgun though, unfortunately.
Well, no, we have a rifle too.
Oh, we have 1 rifle.
Yep.
I think I'm pretty good with a gun.
Yeah, you're pretty good with a gun.
Yeah, you're pretty badass with a gun.
Oh, I only have 1?
You should have a 4, I believe.
Oh, under slug, right.
Yeah. Oh, there was another thing he asked as well.
He says, I'm pretty handy with a gun. We can't tell how many are on the ship. They are tearing the shuttle apart and loading it onto their ship.
Okay. So,
Well, we could wait until twilight, start shooting them, and then so that we can hide in the dark. And then when they attack us and then try to track us down, then by that time the cat dogs will be on us. Of course, we'll all lose each other in the dark.
Right. What if we tried this plan? So Matildes and Charlie are just chatting here. What if we try to lure the creatures onto them, and then maybe we could sneak onto their ship and steal it out from under them while they're fighting?
Ooh, I like that. Sounds like a long shot, but
Yeah, I'm not sure how to lure the creatures to them, but
so mechanically, the way that I think I would do that is there is a skill called animals, and unfortunately, neither of you guys are trained in it. But I would let you basically, if you come up with a plan as to how to sort of trick these things into the Garanimbates to go in and have them attack the pirates rather than you guys, I would just make you make a animals roll. But yeah, unfortunately, not great with that.
no.
You've always wanted a dog, but you've never really had one.
We don't have any meat to use.
not really, except for what's his name, Evan. No, sorry,
Wasn't Finnan the one that's injured?
Finnan. That's right.
Yeah. Or as we like to refer to him as Bacon.
Bacon.
So we send Bacon in. I mean,
Send Bacon up on his own, and then you can go and get attacked and then run back.
Yeah. So what do you?
I think it's more like we have to wait until they're on us, and then and then lure them. So assuming these guys are camping until the evening, through the evening. If they're not, we got a problem. But then maybe.
So what about this, Tidies? We get the creatures to chase us. We run right into their camp with no weapons, and screaming like, "Help us! Protect us!" These creatures, and get them distracted, and then make a break for their ship during the melee, and attempt to get on their ship.
May as well.
Do we have? What are our weapons? We have a shotgun, a rifle, and
A pistol, 2 swords.
we have a pistol. A pistol we could hide.
Yes, my bone.
They probably see.
My bone pistol. Well, you can keep them on you, but you can still call for help.
I think it's a body pistol. A bone pistol is something different.
Right. Well,
if they see that we have weapons, like if we come in there armed, they might just shoot us dead. Like,
right.
we could send one of the women. Well, they're just less likely to shoot a woman running into their camp with her arms in the air, screaming for help.
I guess, and the 2 of us could hide off with all the weapons, and then also the bodyguard also has a weapon.
Are you involving the rest of the castaways or whatever in this conversation?
Not just yet.
No, not just yet. We're trying to come up with our plan before they, shit all over it.
We're thinking.
Okay, I gotta run to the washroom. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Hold on.
Oh, just keep this too. I'm gonna get some water then.
Sorry about that, Jeff. Left you on your lonesome.
Yeah, that's no problem. I got water.
While waiting for Steve to get back, I will find out what kind of armor these guys are wearing. So you get to dig out my Central Supply catalog. Let's see. I don't think they're wearing full plate. That seems
No, I doubt it. I mean, they're doing heavy work.
Yeah.
So they're quite likely to be in not. I mean, they may have it, but they may have taken it off to work.
Okay. Yeah, they're the way that I'm sort of picturing the pirates from Ogma is that effectively they are like space Vikings.
Right.
Right. That's sort of the way that they depict them in the book, or in the source book. So.
I think it's a dangerous plan, but I think we might not have a lot of options if we don't want to try and travel 1,000 miles to the low port.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till Steve puts this.
Right.
Charlie was just saying, I think this is a very dangerous plan, but I don't know if we have a lot of other options.
We don't have a ton of
think
choice.
that we can make 1,000-mile trek to the low port.
We're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
So we could go running towards them sort of with our arms akimbo, and they would get the idea, from a distance, sort of hooting and hollering.
Right. I think our best chance is to get them involved in combat with the creatures. Like, just enough of a distraction that maybe we can get aboard their ship in the chaos.
And if the animals don't follow us, well...
I mean, if it's a ship exactly or very much like ours, we should know pretty much how to fly the thing.
Right.
We don't know how much they'll have modified it, but at least if we're on their ship and they're coming at us, we're also in like a close quarter fight. If we're out here on the plane or whatever you want to call this thing, all 12 of them can be attacking us at once. Whereas on the ship, you've got corridors and hallways, and right, it's a different kind of a shootout scene on a ship than on the open air.
Right. We could sneak up on their ship while they're sleeping.
We could wait for them to sleep and just try to, but I'm assuming they're all going to sleep on their ship, where they'll have bunks and whatnot.
Right.
We could try to just sneak onto their ship and use their communication device while they're sleeping, but
try to break in.
I mean, they might be ballsy enough to not think that we would counter attack them. Essentially, like,
right?
They're the big scary Vikings, right? Like they're not sleeping with their with fear in their hearts. This is their plunder. They're happy. So
Maybe we could patch into their comms from the outside of their ship.
right.
I have a pretty handy computer score.
Is he texting us?
Yeah, you guys actually left the comm open while you're having your conversation.
Why wait for them to sleep? We could attempt.
Would you guys each give me a, let's see here, I think just a raw intellect check, please.
Charlie sends a message back. He says, "We could attempt stealth. However, we are not spies or thieves."
Still denying that you were a pirate, eh?
Hey, you told me that they might kill me for that.
It's a very, very bad thing to admit.
Oh, man.
Ooh. So, Charlie, what do you remember is the person who seemed to know what was going on with these Ogma pirates seemed to be Kareen. So if you have any questions about like how these guys would respond or how they would do things or whatnot, she actually might be a good resource to access.
Okay, so we'll head back to the camp with what we know and have an actual conversation with the rest of the people now.
Sure.
And lay out some of these options that we have. Assaulting them, trying to get the monster, the cats involved to attack them and in the chaos board their ship, or sneak onto their ship, or wait for them to fall asleep and then sneak onto their ship.
Okay. So you, I'm not going to make you roll again. You guys just crawl your way back to the camp, and as far as you can tell, you haven't been spotted. At least there's no bellowing star Vikings who are going to be chasing after you guys. You get back, and you still sort of crouch down as you approach the group. It probably takes you maybe about 45 minutes to make your way there and back. So it's still like, I think maybe maybe early or mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
So you make your way over, and they're sort of eating. They're having a small bite to eat, and as you approach, Nebetka sort of stands up, his pistol ready, and then it sees that it's you guys coming, and sort of relaxes his posture. As you're walking back, Finan, or actually Rao, I think, is the one who stands up and says, "Well, what did you see then?"
There are 10 pirates there. They're tearing the shuttle apart and loading the parts onto their vessel. They seem to have what would I describe the ship as?
It is a far trader.
They have a far trader.
So it's a free trader.
Sorry,
heavily modified.
Trader. Looks heavily modified. 2 of them had some kind of energy weapon. The rest have slug weapons, some pistols, some submachine guns. All of them with some kind of a sword or an axe. Pretty dangerous looking crew.
Corinne sort of nods and says, "They are terrible." So Ross says, "Well, we can't outshoot them with that kind of firepower. It would be 10 guns to our 4.
6.
She leans in and sort of looks at Evan and Finan and Corinne and says, "Do you count the guns held by them?"
No, we don't.
Then 4 guns. So there are 10.
Do they have any weaknesses, Corinne?
She looks and says they are vicious. They are murderers, rapists, cannibals, some say even. They take anything that they can access and prize those with knowledge of any advanced technology. But he sort of pauses. They are confident, perhaps to a fault.
That was my thought of a weakness as well.
Nebetka says, are any on the ship? Their ship?
They seem to be on and off the ship as they are loading the bits they tear off of the shuttle. But as far as men we haven't seen, we don't know.
He does sort of a like ping, ping, ping on his pad, on his comm device, and he pulls up a deck plan for the free trader. So if you guys want to go ahead and open that up. So on page 167 of the core book, and then I'm not sure which one it is on yours, Steve. I'll have to. Oh, sorry, that's the far trader. It's the free trader. Is what page 169. I'll bring down the.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, awesome. Okay, so he points at the sides. You see where the green bars are, guys? And for those listening at home, forgive me. I will actually I will post for next time. I'll make sure I've got the blueprints up so that you guys can actually see them as well. So Stephen and Jeff, can you see the green bars at the side of the number 3 there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are cargo doors.
Mm.
Are the cargo doors down or up? Asked Nebetka. They are down.
Yes, they're down.
And he points to near the front there. And the airlock. And he points to the front. See on the right side of the ship, sort of near the neck there, just below where the number 2 is. The little green disc-looking thing.
Yeah.
That is an airlock.
Okay.
That is how you access the bridge.
So maybe we could sneak aboard.
Maybe do we circle around so that the ship is between them and us, and they can't see us come in?
It's worth a try.
We could do it at night.
They are pulling the.
Well, while they're doing their construction, that noise might help us. That would be very cacophonous if they're hammering away at the hull of the ship and using laser cutters. Like, that noise might help us as much as the cover of night.
Sure.
Kareen says they may not be there by night.
Yeah, they may complete
They are
ripping
reavers.
everything they want. By
They
that
come,
point.
they take, and then they go to the next site. And they may try to avoid a response if there is one from the Highport.
Right.
Right.
Okay, then.
Make a chance and go for it.
I guess so. So logic dictates.
Okay. So, describe for me what the sort of plan is here, then, guys. Like, what's the approach we're going to take to try and to get there? It sounds like you're going to make your way around to the far side, and then are you taking everyone with you, or only some, or what?
No, I think that the plan is to try and steal their ship. And
Okay.
so fly away on it and take it on them.
So you'll take everyone then.
We could go and pick them up.
And
And
we
then
could come and pick them up. They could head back to where we made camp last night, and then we could fly over there and pick them up.
or they could just hang out in the field and we could fly over and pick them up.
And
True.
Nebetka says out loud that, and if you are killed, they will not know that we are part of your. They will not come for us then.
Well, that's true.
He says this in sort of like there's a bit of respect in his voice when he says that.
Well,
But
and also,
the tough guy's coming with us, though.
Well, Nebeka won't leave Princess Rao behind.
no, I think we'll just go me and you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a confident, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if the animals attack them, otherwise they're in trouble if there's not at least a couple guns with the rest of the people.
Tricky call.
Also, at the very least, we can send out a distress signal back. Like, even if we get killed, maybe before we're killed aboard the ship, we can send out a distress signal back to the Highport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Not trying to get killed, but I mean.
No. Okay. So what is I guess that's the plan then. So why don't we so the guys will leave and they'll start making their way winding around to head back. You sort of have it's your last chance to try and get anyone else to come with you. Otherwise it's going to be just the two of you guys.
I mean, if you wanna ask them if they want to come with us, I have no IDs.
Yeah, I mean, we can ask them if they want to.
So what do you say?
Hey, well, this can go one of two ways. You can either me and Charlie go and try to get the ship, and you guys stay here, and we can try to find you after we get the ship. Or if we get caught, then you guys can go your own way. What would you rather do?
Charlie has already said that they would start heading back towards where they were. So you got to your comment will be coming after that. Charlie saying,
okay,
you know,
unless of course you guys wanted to join us.
Why don't you give me a persuade check, please? No gains, no boons. Let's just see how this goes. We'll go from there. Persuade, use social as your modifier, please.
Alrighty. Beep.
And I am picturing Jean Reno saying that too. Unless, of course, one of you wanted to come. So yeah, so everyone sort of gives you a look of like, are you fucking nuts?
Yes, we're about to steal a pirate ship from some pirates. Of course we're nuts.
Evan is actually so obtuse, he takes what you said as a joke, as if you were like having a very dry wit.
Sure. Well, I probably wasn't that committed.
You, Commander, have a very, it says something about your character to have a sense of humor in the face of what seems to be certain death.
Thank you.
It is what I intended.
Yes.
That's funny. I got to find pictures of Terrence Stamp and Jean Reno for next time as well. I also need to watch The Professional again between now and then.
Oh yes.
Okay, so then we sort of cut and you see them making their way off, and Nebeka is walking along, and Princess Rao is the last one to sort of spare a look, back at you guys, and then they are heading off. So now it is your time to shine, guys. So you make your way in sort of a long loop around to the far side. And why don't you give me another stealth check, not recon. You're about to turn the table over, eh, Steve?
Yes.
Fuck you, another recon check.
I
made that joke. This is one second. I made that joke to someone, like the whole flipping table thing, or the fake flipping table thing. A joke to someone who did not get it as that, and I didn't know the person all that well. So it was just horrible, awkward pause of afterwards, where they're looking at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Oh shit. Okay, so
now can we get a boon because of this the sounds how loud they're being?
Yeah, a boon from that. Like in Star Wars, in Traveler, you only get either a boon or a bane. You don't get. Hold on, let me make sure that's the case. You don't get. I don't think you get multiple boons. You either have a boon or you have a bane. It's not like.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Traveler
or nothing.
That would be fucking awesome, though.
Whew. Let's hope
I honestly want everything to be Shadow the Demon Lord this week. So. Okay, how we do? Oh boy.
Well, with the boon, that's good though. Hey.
No, because remember the boon doesn't get added to it. The boon replaces your lowest roll.
Oh.
So that's not great.
So you got a 7.
Yes, you got 7. Okay. Let's roll some recon checks with a
Dexterity
boon.
is a -3.
Do I not have? Yeah. No, I don't have trained in stealth.
Oh.
So you're sort of fumbling your way along on that.
I should have brought someone other than you.
Yes.
So you're Steve. Why don't you give us a good narration of why you're making so much goddamn noise? Oh wait, hold on. Oh yeah,
His outfit is leather and it squeaks.
Wink, 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 wink. Hold on. Oh, because -3, right, is 7. Shit. All right, so you get on the ground and you're, running, making your way along.
And it's wet leather, so it's like extra squeaky today.
Yeah, it's sweaty leather. Exactly.
So you're crawling along and panting quite heavily. Man, you guys are lucky. So I made all the rolls, and because of the bane they've got to their recon, because they're focused on tearing this fucking shuttle apart, I did not make a single roll that was over a 6.
Woo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you guys, I just said there was going to be about 5 of them that might hear you, but they all failed their recon checks. So you're making your way along, and sort of like you get to the point where you're, I'll say you're about maybe like 10 meters away from like sort of the burn zone of where this thing landed. Hold on, I'm just gonna hit reconnect. So you're frozen in a really hilarious position, Jeff.
I'm laughing.
Yeah. There we go. Everyone's back. Okay, so you're now about to, like I said, about 10 meters away from the ship. What do you want to do? Now I'm picturing that. Let me take a look at the map here. I absolutely love these ship layouts too. The schematics. These are so fucking cool.
Oh yeah. So the bottom of the ship is the cargo hold?
Yes. So this thing is, I'm just going to roll actually evens or odds. On an evens, the what do you call it? Airlock to the bridge is facing towards the shuttle, and on odds, or sorry, that's on odds. On evens, it's facing away. Odds. So actually, no, that's good. Wait, what the fuck did I say was even, and what did I say was odd?
You said odd was good.
Odds was good. Okay, so odds is actually facing away. The cargo hold on both sides is open. So there's sort of like a little bit of a ramp that's leading up, and they're there's no high tech stuff for them to offload this heavy equipment. They're pulling off of the shuttle. They're all hand bombing the shit from the shuttle and in. And from the looks of things, the cargo hold's looking pretty full, and they're talking with a very weird accent. So I don't think you can quite understand what they're saying. But they all seem to be hard at work. And then the airlock is sealed, but it is facing you. So not the airlock leading to the bridge is facing you. The cargo hold, both doors are open, so they can see straight through from one side to the other.
Right.
So I'm just going to turn to, there is rules for security on the ship, which is in here. Let's see here.
We're not really. Are you a hacker, Steve? What do you got?
I am, in fact, a computer whiz. I got
Nice.
computers 2 and electronics 2.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you're the hacker in this one.
I am.
Too bad we don't have old Oddball with us. He never fails at this stuff.
Security was one of the things I was always very concerned with all of my smuggling enterprises.
So I think that because of the age of these things, it's going to be because it's an external lock, external locks are one difficulty harder than internal locks, but because of the nature of this fucking ship, it's going to be basically the most basic of locks that locks the external airlock. So your difficulty is going to be a 10 with electronics computers.
Do I have any fortune points or anything?
Not in this game, no. It is just however the dice roll.
Alrighty.
And actually, I can tell you what.
Anything.
The thing is, you can retry. It's just that it takes time. So let's see here. I'm going to take a look at the electronics thing. Remember, each task in the game has a set amount of a random amount of time it takes. What you could do, Steve, if you wanted to improve your chances, is take more time. So right now, to access the lock, to hack a lock, would take you. Oh, hold on. Actually, I think hacking a lock is a mechanics thing, not electronics.
Really?
Or is it intrusion? What? Hold on. What spell? What spell? What skill is it? Too much fantasy.
I mean, I have mechanics at a 3.
Okay.
If that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm actually just seeing here.
We could help each other.
Yeah, maybe we could work on it together.
Is it engineer? Maybe, I don't know. The mechanic is keeping shit running. Engineers used to operate and maintain spacecraft and other vessels. But I feel like there should be like a, general ne'er-do-well kind of skill, or there is one. I'm just going to make sure that there is.
I think hacking was typically a computer thing.
Yeah, but you're not hacking this lock. Like it's a fairly basic lock. Because they're, like I said, I mean, the advantage, if it was an electronic lock, the difficulty would be a lot higher. What I'll say is I'll let you use computer for it, Steve. And the difficulty of this will be 1d6 minutes. No.
The time.
Yeah, hacking a secure computer network takes d6 hours. D6 times 10 hours to hack it. That's not what you're doing here. You're just trying to,
There must be a lock rule.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be. I just don't know there's not. It's not listed as one of the sort of samples under the sample skills, and that's what I'm just making sure that there isn't a.
There were computer hacking rules. Okay.
Yeah, computer hacking rules are on page 64 of the thing, but that's, again, like hacking a computer network takes you D10 hours. So I think it's going to be a couple minutes.
The rules for picking locks can be found in the Spacecraft Operations Chapter 152.
Yeah, I've got that. Oh, mechanics. Fuck, thanks. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Jesus. So it's actually a mechanics check because of the nature of these locks.
All right.
Right. It's either mechanical, electronic, biometric, or intelligence.
So you make your way up there, Miltiades, and you look at this thing, and there's this moment of like when you see just how fucking primitive this stuff is. Your shoulders sort of slump, and you turn to Charlie, and you're like, "Look, by all means."
Right. Like you've got your comm unit out. You're all ready. You got your hacking shit. We see it, and it's like a fucking old school key lock.
Right.
Okay, so I think what we'll say is it is same as like I'm looking at medic. So to do first aid takes about D6 minutes. I think that's what it is. If you wanted to lower the difficulty, and I'm not saying you're going to do this because I don't think you have time, you could make it bump down the time chart again, and then it would lower the difficulty as well. So if you wanted to say take D6 times 10 minutes, that would mean it would be a difficulty of 8 instead of 10. I'm looking at on page 60 is the time frames table.
Oh, okay.
And that's how you make things easier. If you take more time, oh no, it just gives you +2 to your check. It doesn't make the difficulty lower. Well, I guess that's the same fucking thing. And that's the same thing. It's either
And
difficulty
what's the
rolling.
base time?
Base time is I'm saying D6 minutes.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
I
basic
don't think we
time.
want to extend that. That's long enough. Standing by ship.
Okay. So you get there, and it'll take you 3 minutes to do this. Why don't you give me a stealth or a mechanics check, please? See how you do.
Mechanics, dexterity.
Do you have anything to? I don't think you've got anything to modify, like no, like lockpick, lock picks or anything like that. Mechanics would use.
Well, I mean, I think it normally uses education, right?
Yeah, we use intellect or education, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
I'm fine with either.
Okay.
It's either relying on your expert training or relying on just your ingenuity.
Well, let's use intellect because then my roll is got a chance here.
Okay.
And boom. Oh, okay. Boom.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay. So you get there. Why don't you describe for us how you hack into this thing?
Okay. Miltiades had, like I said, he's got his comm out, he's all ready, and he gets up to it, and it's like an old school mechanical lock, and he just looks at me, and I pull out like this little screwdriver thing that I keep in my pocket, and just get to work on it, and pick it like an old school lock pick would pick the lock. So sort of pressing the pins down and putting a little pressure on it so that once they fall, they stay down, and eventually just turn it, and the airlock opens up.
Love it. So there's a bit of a you both sort of wince as it opens because this is an old fucking door, and it sort of like it's correct. The metal sort of scrapes on metal as it irises open. And you quickly look around, and it doesn't seem like anyone has noticed. So you do what?
I guess head into the cabin.
Okay. So you guys can see the
guns
map.
out at this point, in case someone's gone there, obviously.
Which guns do you have out?
Well, I believe I have the shotgun, and Steve, what do you have, the pistol or the rifle?
Pistol.
Okay. Your bone pistol?
My bone pistol, baby.
Surrender. Okay, so you can see in the from the airlock from the photo, you step inside, and there's a second airlock inside. That one is not secured. It is I think it's closed, but it's not locked right now.
Okay. Close the other one behind. So close the other one behind us and relock it.
It hits, and you hear the chunk as you turn the lock again.
And then open the interior one, I guess.
Okay. So you open that door. Iris is open as well, and you look in there, and you can see there's that the common area in
right, like a table and some.
Yeah, and it's a fucking mess. Like if you were to picture what a Space Vikings kitchen or common area is like, it has like the table has all this shit carved out of it. There are stains and shit that's sort of strewn across the area. They were clearly getting themselves worked up because there's a bunch of empty containers of like big sort of like keg type things for some kind of intoxicant. But no people though. You step through.
Okay, quickly make our way to the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. You go to that last thing and you pull it open, and as you hop in there, you guys jump inside, and there are those two chairs. There's the one chair right when you look in on your right hand side, and there's two more that are facing away from you, and you're closer to the front. You hop in there, and the two of them are empty, but one of them, someone sort of turns around and he says something in that same bizarre language that you heard. And this guy looks at you, and he has a big, full grown beard. He's got a really pronounced nose. It looks like it's been broken at one point. His face is looking a little scarred. His hair is sort of wild, and his clothes are almost tatters. And he looks over at you, and first he says something in this language you don't quite understand.
As soon as he's saying that, I quickly stride over there, and my shotgun is in his face.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Give me.
And I close the door after us.
Okay. So the door closes. You walk over. You've got the shotgun at his neck. He looks up, and he says, in perfect Galanglic, "Are they dead?"
Yes, they're all dead. Now get this thing off the ground.
He sort of chuckles. He says, "Happily," and his hands start flying across the board. And he says, "You didn't by any chance close the cargo doors, did you?"
No.
Be a dear, would you? And he sort of points to the other control panel, and I think that you guys. Oh, you know what? Give me just a pilot starship check, please, or spacecraft check. This place. The only reason I'm making you make a roll for this is because this thing's so fucking heavily modified over the years.
So see if you didn't see where to close the doors right away.
Yeah, just close it to avoid any of the other Ogma raiders getting on. So
Kev, does he not look like the other guys that were down there?
He is not dressed like the other guys. He has no tattoos on him. Actually, so Steve, I need a pilot spacecraft roll from you, please. And then Jeff, would you kindly give me just a recon check, and I'll give you a boon on this.
Okay.
Steve, you can use your education, I think, with piloting spacecraft.
Hey, my pilot doesn't have training in it. It should.
Oh,
you should have a 2 in it.
Okay.
Are you sure it's not? Let me hold up. Let me open up your character sheet.
I got a 7 with the boon.
Okay. Well, actually, this is an easier check though. So you do notice there's actually a manacle on this guy's right ankle that is attached to a chain and then is attached to the ship itself in a crude kind of way.
Oh, so I immediately take my shotgun off his neck and say, "You're not with them, are you?"
And he says, "Not much gets by you, does it?"
All right. I won't put my shotgun back on him then at this point.
Okay, Miltiades, your pilot is trained. Hold on. You should have a 2 in it.
I see a 0.
Yeah, I'm seeing 0 as well. I'm just going to make sure I didn't fuck up somewhere here.
I could have swore you took piloting.
Yeah,
no, I did.
You should have a 2 in it. Let's see here. Skill level is 2, right? So.
Actually, I think we both. Yeah, I have some piloting too.
Okay, so there you go, Steve. Go ahead and make your check now.
And with education.
With education, please. Yeah.
Alrighty.
This is just trying to know about where to find shit.
Oh no, never mind. That's.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, I'm just waiting for it to boom. Oh, nice one. Yeah. So you even though this thing it's clear the panel has been heavily rewired. It's actually from a different spacecraft. You hit this thing, and what we see is outside all the the Ogman pirates are working away on this ship, and then one of them is bringing some shit back, and he sees the ramps kind of pull up, and then the cargo hold closes on this thing.
Actually, Kevin, while he's doing that, I do say to him, I said, "Sorry, I lied. They're not dead. Get us out of here as fast as you can."
Oh, not to worry. This whatever they've got won't pierce the hold anyway. And you can hear this like outside. The ship starts sort of like rumbling. They're all turning and starting to fire, closer toward the towards the cargo doors. And all it's really doing is scouring the side of the ship. Even the energy weapons are really not doing much. You wouldn't want to let them sit there and keep firing at it, but the whole thing sort of like rumbles, and then it.
And now I'm pointing at him where to go. I'm saying, quick, land over there. There's more of us, more survivors from the crash.
You were on that thing, and he nods out the window towards the shuttle that now has a bunch of really angry, leather clad.
Yes, unfortunately, that was our shuttle.
Okay. So he laughs. He says the irony is so rich, and he hits a button, and then he starts saying, "Did you hear it? The irony is rich." And it's going out over the speakers now at these guys. They still are screaming away in this like degenerate Galanglic, and the ship flies over, and boom, you're able to land down. You pick up everyone before without any kind of consequence. Or any other problems, and then you get up, and as you start lifting up again, the guy turns towards you, and actually I'll quickly generate his name because
and actually, Kev, at this point, while they're getting on board the ship, Charlie and Miltiades will check the cargo hold to see if any of them happened to be in there when the doors closed.
Sure.
Like, just to make sure that we're not going to all of a sudden get ambushed by one pirate who...
Let's deal with that next session. So I'm about to wrap up the session. Sure. And I don't know. I'm going to randomly generate whether there is anyone else on board.
Okay. Well, you can see we're doing that while we're picking everyone up, not way later.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think as the ship is making its way over towards them, you can check the things. That's silly. Oh. His name is Paulus, but you can call me Paul. No one's called me Paul in a while.
Sounds good, Paul. I'm Charlie. This is Miltiades.
Pleased to meet you.
Charlie? Milt? Good to meet you, too. So good to meet you. So then, Charlie, you step away. Milt, he's going to ask you to operate the sensors to find so that you can orient yourself properly towards. So then what we'll do is the door opens, and you're going to step through Charlie to go and search the rest of the craft, and that's where we will end the session. And we'll pick up in 2 weeks' time and find out if there are any other of those pirates on board, and then you guys can, between now and then, figure out where you want to go next too. Like, do you want to make your way to the low port? You try and make your way up to the high port to see how the Belfi weathered the pirate attack. We will have to see. So
we'll have to see next time.
Cool. Okay, great. So sorry, we went a little bit over time there, guys. I apologize for keeping you late, but hopefully it was worth it. Let me just get out of
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That was a good little adventure.
We stole the pirate's ship.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice. Fucking great. Okay, so for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this session 3 of the Pirates of Drinax campaign. I think we finally delivered on the name of the campaign with some actual fucking pirates. It only took us 3 sessions. Actually, no, it only took us 2 sessions to introduce pirates, I guess. So, but we did have some bona fide pirates here. So we will see you again with this campaign in 2 weeks' time. In the interim, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the session or the rules, if I have fucked something up in particular with the traveler rules, which I no doubt have, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and we will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. And I say we because if you have any questions for the players as well too, please feel free to do that. I will communicate that to the players, and then I'll get their responses and share those with you, or let them respond themselves, I guess, if they choose to. So anyway, that is it for the session tonight. So thank you so much, folks. We will see you again soon.